In Topaz Workbench, it's very easy to be able to debug your code using the Xpediter Eclipse. So here, let's open up the Eclipse perspective from the Compuware drop-down menu. And this will just change how things are arranged on the screen. Notice we also have cheat sheets, so you can very quickly and easily get started with either a batch, CSCS, DB2 store procedure, or an IMS program. So within this perspective, at the very top, I can either click the little bug or the run and go to Debug Configurations. So that will open up our configurations window where we can tell what it is that we want to debug. So here, if I want to set up a new batch session, I just click on Xpediter Batch Debug and click New. Notice it gives us a new configuration. So here I'll just type New. Well, let's select the host or the LPAR where our program is that we want to debug, and then enter in the job name. So I'll type in my job name. And input that here. I could browse it directly here, view it, but I like to click the autofill button. And that will give us our steps or our programs from the job that we want to debug. Now, other tabs across the top here are things we can or may not need. So if I wanted to see a visualization of this program as I'm stepping through the debug, I can certainly turn that on. If you wanted to collect code coverage statistics to see what lines of code have been executed or not, you can turn that on as well. And then if your load or DDIO files are different than what's in your step DDL or step DDs, then you can input those here. But here we will just do a very basic, put in our dataset name, click autofill, and then debug. So it's going to ask us for our credentials for that LPAR. Input those and click OK. Notice the console at the bottom left. So it's waiting for Xpediter. It submitted the job, and then it will find that and then load the job for us. Top left tells us also that we're waiting on the mainframe job. And then once that comes back in, we'll see a couple of tabs that will open up for us. The first one is the visualization. So right now we're at the root, just in our first program, in the main program. And then we see that it loads the code for us. Notice also that it's now populated our outline view. Here, I'll close the cheat sheets just so we have a little more real estate here. And then a couple of other windows here within this. We have breakpoints at the top. The great thing about Xpediter Eclipse is that you can set breakpoints and they are remembered from one execution to the next. Then we also have a variables tab and a registers tab. So across the top, some different commands. Skip all breakpoints if we wanted to. Our resume button or go button. Terminate, disconnect, and then we can also step into, step over, or step return. So notice we're sitting at our first breakpoint, which is the procedure division. And let's just start stepping into this code. So as we start stepping into, you'll notice some things changing, things in the variables window there on the right-hand side. And I just keep stepping through. Notice I've got one thing that I've put here as a watch value. So again, anywhere within Topaz, right-click is our friend. So if I were to right-click over here on the right-hand side, notice here's where you can set those breakpoints. So we can set the toggle breakpoint, a conditional, skip points, a when condition, run to line, set line as next statement, or add those watch variables. And you can also monitor, right? So you're not executing, you're just monitoring as you go through the program or perform a program analysis. So for example, I added a watch variable, this imp wages, so I can add where I'm currently clicked on the current line, or I could select by name and just select anything off the list here that I wanted to add to the watch line. So here we'll just add one more just to show you how. And now that also will be added and will stay within this variables window as we step through the program, and I can see the values coming in and out of that. So here got a PARM, is numeric, there's my sales, my PARM data, and again we're just kind of stepping on through. Notice we're going to initialize an array here, and I can expand that if I wanted to, see those values as they're coming into that array and being initialized there. I'll just kind of click on through here. And of course I could click here and change any of these values. If I want to force the code down a different path, you can certainly very quickly and easily do that here. Here we're going to go through this region table, initializing it. And as we do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Bear with me. There we go. Moving on through the code now. Now we're going to accept today's date from date, and then the next line is calling a subprogram. So here we're going to call CWKT date. And then notice what happens here. Once we step into that program, notice our outline view is now changed to the outline of that particular program. And then we step through that way as well. And again, I could take breakpoints on or off anytime, but they will remember them all. So I could have a very long list here if I wanted to, and just select them as I need them. So here I will just let it resume, so it will run either until the next breakpoint or until the end of program. So I can see down in my console view that the program has completed. Notice the runtime visualization is also completed, and then it will open us up our log file as well for this Xpediter session. Okay, so looking at the runtime visualization, if I hover over any of these numbers, I can see it read 12 records, one wasn't open, it called the subroutine 12 times, and wrote out 22 records to this report file. Another way to be able to view these visualizations is through the Runtime Visualizer. So if I were to go to the Compuware menu and click on Runtime Visualizer, it just changes the perspective a little bit. So these are things that you can save out. So if I wanted to right click and tell it to export this, I could export this visualization out to a PDF, comma delimited file, Visio diagram, or to an image. So that's a great way to be able to save them off. Include a date on it, maybe a watermark, and document before and after changes. But if I wanted to come back to the very beginning of this and just start stepping through it, right? So I could share it with someone, have them step through it, just stepping through the visualization. You notice it's also synchronizing with the summarized events below, or I could come over here to individual events and just start stepping through it that way. And it gives us a lot of information in our properties view as well. So that's how easy it is to debug a program with Xpediter and also look at it through the Runtime Visualizer. Thank you.